Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and NewsChannel 5.
Good morning. Good to have you with us on the broadcast today. Women of Color Foundation launches its new CL magazine. Chairwoman and publisher Alex Boone is here to tell us about this new venture. Then we'll hear from the CEO and founder of Elite Women Around the World, Rita Singh, and member Sharon Salmon. They'll explain how women are benefiting from the organization's new leadership Mastermind series. And later on the broadcast after that, Mike Olszewski will talk about his new book, co-authored with his wife Janice. The focus of the book is Cleveland television. Lots of good stories, I'm certain there. Good morning, everybody. I'm Leon Bibb. Welcome to Kaleidoscope. And so we begin with one of our regulars here, my good friend Alexandria Boone, publisher of CL Magazine and founder of Women of Color Foundation. Hey, Alex.
How you doing, Leon?
I'm doing fine.
We've got to stop meeting like this.
Yeah, it's okay. Good to have you on the broadcast always.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're always doing something with the Women of Color Foundation.
Trying.
Yeah, that's where you recognize women of all races and ethnic
all
groups
colors.
and all colors.
Yes, sir.
And you reward them and give them a high praise for their accomplishments.
Absolutely.
Now you've got something new called CL Magazine.
I do. It's something I've been working on secretly behind the scenes for almost a year. And we unveiled the first cover at American Greetings on November 6th. We had an event there honoring 3 prominent women here in Cleveland for their personal and professional success, and we unveiled the magazine to a standing ovation. People were so excited, and our first issue is going to come out in January of 2015.
CL Magazine. Now what's the CL mean?
CL is for career and lifestyle, and we're saying that it's a magazine for women of color. And you know, we serve all women of all colors, and I always say white is a color for me, so we're very excited about it.
What was your inspiration to start all of this?
I guess, Leon, there was a void in Cleveland. I mean, we just didn't have any magazine that was targeting women and women of color specifically. There's a couple of, magazines, or I would say maybe tabloids or newspapers, but not really a magazine designed to target women of color and talk about career and lifestyle issues that face us every day.
You're going to talk about information in there as well that people can use.
Yeah, it's not going to be just filled with ads. Of course, we need advertisers to keep the magazine going, but it's going to be tips for life and family balance and career and a job board and health and wellness and healthy cooking and safe diets, all kinds of information that would be important to women and girls of color.
This has got to be a natural for you. You've been doing publications for a long time, working in publicity, working in promotion and public relations and things like that. This has got to be a natural for you.
Well, I thought so. You know, it was a natural progression for us. I've been in the public relations business for 29 years, and then I published magazines previously. People may not remember, but I published a magazine called MBE Profiles, and I published a magazine called Reflections. They were published during Black History Month. And then I published a magazine called Reflexiones that targeted the Latina community here in Cleveland.
What kind of stories do you want to put in your magazine, which comes out, your first one, your debut, January 2015.
January
what kind of stories
2015.
do you want to put in?
Well, we want people to see successful women of all ages and races and all different industries. We want people to have information about leadership. We want people to understand how to select a personal or professional coach. There'll be all kinds of information. We'll have regular columns. We have people like Rita Singh from Elite Women Around the World, people like Dr. Charlie Pratt from Cleveland State University, a number of women. Dr. Ellen Burtz Cooper will talk about, selecting a coach and training groups and all kinds of things that would be important to women as they move their careers forward.
And you see this as an offshoot, really, of the Women of Color Foundation, which you started.
Right, exactly. And the Women of Color Foundation, we're in our 13th year, and as you know, we've always been about leadership development, training, and education for women and girls of color. So this was a natural progression for us.
You grew up in this town, as did I.
I did.
We are of the same generation. We've known each other since, I guess, we were little children.
Little children.
Little children, even before kindergarten we knew each
Exactly.
other. So your roots go deep in Cleveland, and you really call upon that, don't you?
I do, and that's one of the things that I think that has helped me succeed in what I'm doing with the Women of Color Foundation, because people here know me, and they know what I stand for, and they know that I'm committed to this community. I've lived here all my life, except for the time that I was gone away to college, and I returned here. I moved to Chicago for a promotion with the U.S. Navy, and then I moved back to Cleveland. So, I mean, this is home, and I came back because I love Cleveland.
What do you want us to get out of this magazine? I mean, there's got to be an overriding or an undergirding, an infrastructure philosophy.
Well, I think the thing for me, Leon, is that I want people of color, particularly women, to see positive images of themselves. I mean, lots of media focus on lots of things, but we don't always see the positive images. We see all the madness on TV and the violence. I want us to see, on a regular basis, positive images of ourselves doing positive, exciting things in this community.
What will this do for the girls in our community, and for the boys too, who may see this? Because this magazine is going to be open to anybody to read.
To anybody that wants it.
What's it going to do for the young people?
Well, I'm hoping that it will motivate and inspire them to do wonderful things. I hope that it will motivate them to decide to go to college or to pursue their dreams. I mean, we actually have a man that's going to be writing for the magazine. His name is Darren Reedus, and he has a company called Main Street Inclusion Advisors, and he'll be writing about women-owned businesses and minority businesses and how to develop and how to get loans and what have you. So I hope it'll just motivate and inspire people to do their absolute very best.
You've got this on your website. I'm certain we can find information.
Yes, people can go to our website, www.womenofcolorfoundation.com, and they can click on the CL Magazine tab, and then they can call us at our 800 number. What's actually an 866 number, 866-962-3411.
It's 866-962-3411. We've got that on the screen. We'll put it on the screen, 866-962-3411, and you can get more information on everything we're talking about. Well, where will we find CL Magazine?
Well, we're going to do it as a digital publication first, because we have a mailing list of about 30,000 people, and it's going to be published here in Cleveland, but it's going to be sent out all over the country. It's going to have a national focus, and then we're going to have a more specific focus for the state of Ohio.
Okay, we look forward to that.
Thank you.
Alexandria Boone, publisher of the new CL magazine, is going to be out in January 2015. CL meaning career and lifestyle.
Correct.
And we're going to build on that, aren't we, Alexandria?
Absolutely.
Alex Boone, publisher, one of my good friends. Thank you, Alex, for being on the broadcast. Oh, my pleasure. Always good to have you on the broadcast. This is Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. In a moment, we're going to come back, and we're going to have two women who are going to talk about something absolutely wonderful, a leadership mastermind group for women. But first, these words, especially for you. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope. Rita Singh is founder and CEO of Elite Women Around the World, and she recently launched Leadership Mastermind, bringing women together to support and help each other personally and professionally. And joining Rita today is Sharon Salmon, who's a product manager of specialty aerosols at the Sherwin-Williams Company, and they're going to tell us about the objective of Elite Women Around the World and about the Leadership Mastermind series. Good to have you both with us, ladies. Let's begin with you, Rita Singh. Tell me about what is Elite Women Around the World. Give me a thumbnail sketch.
First of all, I want to tell you how honored and thankful and humble we are to be here and giving us this opportunity to share this platform with a lot of the other women in our community. Elite Women Around the World started almost 9 years back, and the fundamental principle is that every woman must mentor another woman. You know, that's the principle. And our vision on the larger scale is that we are hoping to give economic empowerment to women around the world. We're starting right here in Cleveland.
And give them strength,
give them strength.
And some empowerment.
Empowerment, and this all happens through the education and the network, you know, we're trying to give them in a in building a network around them. And we put together a lot of the forums, the conferences, and the sessions where they come together and they share their challenges, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they can overcome them.
Women getting together, talking about the issues that affect their lives and the lives of those around them. Sharon Salmon, you're product manager, specialty aerosols at Sherwin-Williams. Tell everybody at Sherwin-Williams we said hi. But we know you are here today representing yourself as a member of the elite women around the world. Tell me why you're involved.
This forum gives me the opportunity to mentor and be mentored by women in the community, women that I wouldn't have met in this area if I didn't join this group.
And they've got a mastermind series now. What happens in this leadership mastermind series?
The mastermind series is an opportunity for women to come and share their experiences in their careers and help other women within their careers as well.
What kind of experiences are we talking about? Can women share?
Women can share their the benefits of networking together and sharing experiences, sharing both successes and failures within their careers, because we all learn from those experiences.
This is what you had in mind when you founded all of this, isn't it, Rita?
Yes, yes. It was just a very small seed, and I see now it's really blossoming into where we are embracing women and including women from all areas, all industries.
Women getting to realize that they indeed have power, that they've always had power, although they may not have always used it, certainly way back when, before the suffragette movement and all of that in the 1920s, but they have the power.
Most of them know them, but I feel it helps, when we sit together and we talk about what the challenges are, and especially through leadership mastermind, which I feel it gives you the clarity of mind, it gives you the direction, it gives you the desire to succeed, and it also gives you the discipline and the confidence to overcome the challenges.
What happens at this mastermind series? Well, what do you want to happen in this mastermind series?
I want women to come with a clean mind, where they are, willing to receive and as well as to give back.
Yeah. Sharon, we've got a photograph here of just some of the representatives of the Mastermind series, and we see all kinds of women there, different ages of women, and different perhaps ethnic backgrounds of women. But there's a common theme through all of these women, isn't there?
Yes.
Speak to that a little bit, won't you?
This mastermind program does bring women of all races and all ages together. And in the program, it gives us the clarity and the purpose to help other women. It also gives women like me with a long career and lots of experience an opportunity to share that with other women.
You told me before we started the broadcast that you've been with Sherwin-Williams for a couple of decades now.
Yes, I have.
And more than 20 years. And,
yes.
And you can use some of that, what you learned, to help other women who are coming into the corporate world, can't you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what you had in mind, right, Rita? That kind of thing.
Yes, and we are also able to achieve this through our alliances, and I also want to mentor someone who I have a lot of respect, and Alex Boone, who was here earlier, through Women of Color Foundation. We are sharing this resource with the women in her network, and she's doing the same for us.
Well, thank goodness you're both here to talk about it. I'm going to put a phone number on the screen, 216-593-0050. More information on everything we're talking about, or you can go to elitewomenaroundtheworld.com. You can get more information on everything we're talking about. Good to have you on the broadcast again as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Rita Singh, who is the CEO and founder of Elite Women Around the World, and Sharon Salmon, who's product manager of specialty aerosols at Sherwin-Williams, but who is also participating in Elite Women Around the World. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Thank
we
you.
wish you both well. Tell everybody, all the women, we said, hey, and go for the power.
Yes.
Indeed. Oh, that strikes a nerve right there. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope. I'm going to be back in just a moment. We're going to talk about Cleveland television history after this. Welcome back. Veteran Cleveland radio and television personality Mike Olszewski and his wife Janice are co-authors of Cleveland Television Tales, a new book that looks at the programs, entertainers, and news personalities in the history of Cleveland television. And Mike is here to share a whole lot more with us. Always good to see you, Mike.
Very honored to be here. Thank you.
Such a wonderful book, Cleveland Television Tales.
Yeah.
You really got it right on this one.
Well, you know, I had a good researcher too. My wife says get it right or don't do it at all.
Yeah.
So, you know, Janice and I did spend a lot of time in the library.
What made you decide that you wanted to get into this?
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, the legacies of these wonderful people that we grew up with, we were the first generation of television. And, you know, TV, mass media tends to be disposable. You turn it on when you need it, you turn it off when you're done. But so many of them, people like Dorothy Foldheim, Paige Palmer, Ron Penfound, Lynn Sheldon, Ghoulardi, of course, all had this wonderful influence on us. And, you know, it lasted for so many years. We wanted to make sure that their legacy was preserved. A friend of ours, the producer out in Hollywood, he said, you know, the audio and video of television and radio should be preserved like cave paintings. And he's so right. He's so right.
I mean, the stories in here, and you got the photographs of all the people, and some of them are gone now, gone from the scene, but
sadly,
but they still live on videotape or on film. I mean, we can go back that far. You really touched some hearts. Give me a couple of the stories that you really liked that would be good to tell.
Well, you know, there's so many of them. You know, people forget. Well, you know, if you go to a party or something and you see people you don't know, if you talk about TV or radio, right away you get smiles from people's faces. And I tell young people, you know what? You want to get a smile from your grandparents? Mention Dorothy Foldheim, Ghoulardi, Captain Penny. Watch that smile and get ready for some stories.
And because the stories are great, you know, when I was a kid growing up, we watched Ghoulardi. That was over on Channel 8.
Sure.
Over on Channel 8, we all watched Ghoulardi on the weekends, and he had that crazy papa that was his theme song, which resonates with me.
Sure.
And he would show these horrible movies
and tell you they were horrible.
But during the break, they would do crazy stuff.
You know what? It's funny because I spoke to Jimmy Zero, who was one of the Dead Boys, and he said one of the reasons that punk rock took off in Cleveland was because of Ghoulardi. You could be an entertainer and an anarchist and have fun at the same time. One of the things that keeps coming up is the way Captain Penny used to sign off his show. Oh, if these walls could talk in the studio. And he used to say you could fool some of the people and all like that.
Right.
That came from 3 different sources. Abraham Lincoln, Spanky McFarland, who at the end he said,
the Little Rascals.
You can't fool Mom. And then Ron Penfound would add, Mom is pretty smart, and if you just follow her advice, you're not going to go far wrong.
I watched him all the time right here on Channel 5, Captain Penny, and he'd bring in Jungle Larry and Safari Jane.
Safari Jane, sure,
I mean, they're just, if you got years on you, like I got a couple on me, you remember these stories. These folks had talent.
You know,
every one of them, didn't they?
It's so true, and that's why we remember them today, because we didn't have all the special effects. You have more special effects in a camera you buy at Best Buy or one of the big box stores than they had back then. But it was their talent, it was their creativity, and their presence that really made them so memorable to us.
If you want to really talk to, I would sit down and just talk to people like Lynn Sheldon, who played Barnaby.
Oh, the great Lynn Sheldon.
He would tell stories that would last hours and hours and hours. You found that, didn't you, when you and your wife got into the library and started doing
Absolutely, you know, and we were so lucky to meet up with Lynn years ago and his wife Laura and his whole family. And the stories, the guy would just hold you like in the palm of his hand. He could make you laugh and cry and laugh in 5 minutes. And he was just terrific in that he was an entertainer. He was a performer. Barnaby was just a role that he played, but it was that wonderful role that stayed with us all these years.
But Mike, you were the same thing. You worked in radio. You worked in television.
Sure.
I mean, so you had a penchant for this. You understood the backstories on a lot of the stories that you
Well, as you pointed out, this is a small fraternity, but it's these names that we really want to preserve to keep people remembering them for years to come. Because, as I said, it's disposable. You know, it just goes off into space after the TV's off. But at the same time, they influenced us. They really showed us life lessons and little things that, you know, we could take with us throughout our years.
I'm intrigued how you would go back to the very beginning of television in this community. You went back to 1947 on
this TV station right
on this television station being the first station in Ohio and the 11th station in the United States, WEWS. And you have brought it all the way to the present day, just about.
WEWS was one of the true innovators nationwide, because when you think back at the society back in the 1940s, it was just, you know, a different kind of world. Their first employee, a woman of Jewish heritage. Dorothy Foldheim.
Dorothy Foldheim.
And she was just the most amazing woman, and she was on until 1984, and people tuned in constantly. And she was a feisty woman, too. She didn't put up with any nonsense.
But she gave her opinions.
She sure
and
did.
Knew where she stood.
Yeah.
Mike Olszewski, always good to have you on the broadcast.
Thank you, sir.
And we can find this at bookstores throughout Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely. Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and certainly any number of places. Any bookstore.
Wherever good books are sold, you'll find it.
There you go.
Cleveland TV Tales, written by Mike and Janice Olszewski. Good to have you on the broadcast,
Thank
Mike.
you.
We appreciate it. It is a very, very good read. That I promise you. So pick it up, pick it up. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a break in just a moment. We're going to be back, and we're going to talk to Cordell Stokes about the Urban League of Greater Cleveland and what it is doing. Back after this. The Morning Exchange segment right now, and I've got Cordell Stokes, he's Senior Manager of Talent and Acquisition at the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, joins me now for a couple of comments on what's on his mind. Hey, Cordell.
Good morning, Leon. How are you?
I'm okay, man.
Good. The last time I was here, we educated the public about the Community Benefits Agreement. We also were marketing and recruiting for minorities as well as women to get into the pre-apprenticeship training program that we're operating over at the Urban League. From that session that we did on the show, we were able to select a core of 14 individuals, 7 of which are women, 5 college graduates. And so they're now prepared to enroll at Tri-C's pre-construction program with a capacity of 20.
And that's getting women into that part of the workforce.
Absolutely.
Even more so. I mean, that just dovetails nicely to what we were just talking about in two of our segments today about women in power.
I agree.
And this is some economic power you're trying to help women find through the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, right?
Well, it stems from Mayor Jackson's Community Benefits Agreement and his stakeholdership with the construction and building trades under Dave Wondolowski, the Greater Cleveland Partnership, and of course the Urban League. So it's an overall attempt to increase the diversity, or at least enhance it, within the construction industry.
This is all part of what you're about and what the Urban League has long been about. All of its 100 years or so of existence, not your 100 years of existence.
Sure.
You've got a long way
Let's
to go
hope
before.
not.
You got a long way to go.
Look good for 100.
But this is what it's all about, isn't it?
Sure, and Mrs. Maccabee alludes to that often. 2017 will be our centennial celebration for Cleveland's Urban League to be 100. And as she often states on this show, it's about community empowerment.
Yeah, and finding that economic empowerment. That's the next step of the old civil rights movement, isn't it?
Absolutely, and then of course there's a great push for education.
Yeah.
So as you hear from Mrs. Maccabee, she has a great education department headed by Yvette Jackson Clark, and they are throughout the Cleveland public school system doing great work,
making it work. Thank you, Cordell Stokes.
Absolutely.
That's going to do it for us. Take care and be well.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.